And here we have yet another Kickstarter project that I'm backing. I'm a little bit late into the day on this one, so I've recently found it. It's another Mörk Borg, Pirate Borg, sort of cyborg type. Well, clone is the wrong thing to use, but it's standalone, dark gothic, grim fantasy world with its own classes. I think it was 45 plus monsters and creatures to throw at the NPCs. A very unique looking land with distinct regions and areas as well, with its own sort of lore and quite frankly, very interesting ritual magic rules that, as it says, you can actually use that in any of the other systems. You can sort of just pull this out. So before I get into the Kickstarter project, my name's Adrian from Dungeon and Dyslexia. This is my channel based on role-playing news, reviews. I deal with crowdfunding. I now do have a Discord and Facebook page. Links for both are in my channel description. So let's just jump straight over and have a look at the project itself. So it's called WraithBorn, which is a grim folk fantasy setting for Mörk Borg old school Renaissance type games. So be born again in the shadowed realm of the undead, escape the horror, reenact rituals and cast your own light in this tortured world. At time of recording, we are sat at $23,000 made. I just flicked to the UK equivalent because it's important for the stretch goals. So we're just under sort of 18,000 here, 356 backers with 7 days to go at time of recording. So it'll probably be about 6. So you're going to have to get onto this quite quickly. So I apologise to coming in a little bit later. I did discover this a little bit later on. And who is the game by? So we'll just get into this. And we've got Theatre Macabre. This is the second project they've created on Kickstart, and the first project here, which as it said was funded in 5 minutes, which is Demon Slayer, which is another compatible Mörk Borg setting world, which I had a quick look at the comments. It has been sent out to backers and all the comments are very positive about what has arrived. Okay, so let's carry on and get into the campaign. We've got, so the story, it's quite a long page, this one, which is quite nice. So there's an awful lot of detail included in here, which is good to see. So a little bit here about the world. Death heralded your birth as you woke from the world in its last breath of your own kin. As such, in life, the dark omens was placed upon you and you were renounced, reviled and rejected by all who crossed your path. WraithBorn is a grim folk fantasy for Mörk Borg or old school role-playing games, inspired by folk music, ritual magic, dark grim fantasy, and the natural world around us. It's set in the veiled realm of Segal, or Segale, one of those, and a shadow echo of the medieval reality where the undead and the cursed reside beside the wretches and evils who call this home. So one of the things I found difficult about Mörk Borg, and I've had other people say this, I say it's a fantastic book, but it is quite a tough read, and the layout is let's say hard to follow. It's kind of just thrown around, which I think has probably made it maybe less popular than it could have been. And I think with things like Cyborg, Pirate Borg, the Brimstone game that's come out, so there's a lot of these that are taking the world, and I think possibly people then going backwards to Mörk Borg and then playing that horrible in a nice way, sort of dark, gritty, terrifying sort of world. So what have we got included in this book? So we've got 10 new classes, which I'll come on to. There's a nice section here, but things like Wraithborn, Moonfade, Dampier, Ironclad, 30 plus monsters, from vampiric beasts to rotlings in the wild, from dragons and their kin to demons and their minions. The Tortured Isle campaign guide, which is always good to have a campaign guide in here. A faction system, which embarks on quests and building reputation. The ritual magic system, which is very interesting. There is a specific update relating to it, but I'm going to touch on it. By all means, jump in and read it in your own time. We've got the lyrical oracle system, a mini campaign, which is always, I always really pleased when game designers actually put a campaign or adventure in, and then we've got an adventure as well, the What Rod. So all included within the book. Book itself, it's going to be an A size 5, so it's the standard size for your Mörk Borg, Pirate Borg, Cyborg type books. 200 plus pages, either in loft, in soft or hard cover. It's full colour print, and you'll get a downloadable PDF if you do purchase the physical copy. Fantastic, always good to include the PDF. So Sigale is a broken and twisted mirror of our own reality, exists in many facets and expressions. Yet in this book, we will focus on the realms of the Tortured Isles. And what I like about that is that basically says more stuff is coming. If this is a success, which it is, it's going, you know, they have hit their crowding goals, their funding goals. So hopefully we're going to see more of these. So we've got, say, it just covers to me. There's going to be, you know, we're looking just at the Tortured Isles, so there's more stuff. So we've got some details about the Tortured Isles here and some of the areas. So we've got Tyr, Raid, I think that is pronounced, Neve, Odum, that would be, and Finn. And they are all, the 5 different locations that are in the book, they are unique and completely different. So looking at Tyr, is a wild isle of grasping mountains and windswept beaches, now overrun by feral tyrants from the Whispering North. And then we've got Rid, is a land of rotting hills where rocks burst from the earth in grand eruptions of prehistoric past. So just so completely different in one place. It's guarded by ancient and fierce wyverns on the island. We've got Neve, which is the Fey realm, which is was once ruled by the dolphin Vermilion. Thinking Slipknot, everyone else. One extra Al in here. 11, who is the Wicked's turn to the realm upon itself. And then we've got Odum, which is the fires of industry. So it's like an industrial sort of, it's going to be a very sort of smoggy, dirty city. And then the final one we've got Finn, which, if they sought to escape, to carve a path to the heavens if everyone existed, they are only to be rewarded with ruin, corruption, and despair. So 5 different sort of themes, worlds, each with its own bit of lore, monsters, creatures, and I think, looking at the map, just scrolling back up, we probably will end up with some sort of maps of each of the locations and some sort of mysteries. So if we sort of look at this with the locations and stuff. So that's 5 different areas, type worlds to go. We'll then look at the 10 unique classes in WraithBorn on the Tortured Isles. So we've got the WraithBorn themselves, which are born of ritual magic. We've got the Wild Kin, which are born from the lands and somehow gained the mark of the reverent connection to the land and beast. Ironclad, I like these are just cool. This artwork is absolutely ace. I probably should say that across the board. It's a very distinct and rich art going through. Sorry, I've got sidetracked on these ironclad things. I'd say they look absolutely ace with their little helmet. Well, I say little helmets, sort of the way the helmet's sort of built in and no necks. That's quite good looking. Demons, creatures summoned once by Vermilion 11th. They are now shadowed round and are accustomed to the scent of the shadowy liquor. We've got a Dampier of Tyr, which obviously are vampires, thirst for such for their brethren, along with the blood seekers in their employment that use hematology, which will be their spells or control, whether it be a spell or magic. Well, that's going to be some sort of magic that they use. Wyvern Riders of Red, so that obviously that from there is they're going to ride on the back of the wyverns, which absolutely is cool. I did have a campaign once where towards the end, one of my players actually got to sort of complete a bunch of mini quests. Well, they weren't actually mini, they were quite large, to become a full-on dragon rider, and he got to defend the city on the back of a dragon, which was fantastic for the player. Moon Fae, they are of once people unfortunate enough to be born in this realm. And then finally, we've got the Stormbringers and the Zarok Ka, I think, which are 2 magical focused classes. So the Stormbringers use elements to terrorize their foe, while the Zarok Ka harness the power that hangs in the balance between light and darkness. Say there are there's a mini campaign here. You'll find yourself on either side of the Cold War between Ty and Ride, as you can choose to take on one of the two of the paths, either work for your vampire masters, seeking the blood of the dragonkind, or servitude to the land. You hear the sect infiltrating the precious lands, seeking out the magic that bears such wonders for folk. It's quite nice that you can go either side, so it's not going to be a linear sort of train track sort of campaign. Then we have got an adventure as well. So it's a one-off adventure that takes the party deep into the heart of Odium's rotting woods. So it looks like there's going to be quite a bit there to get going, which I say it's always a good thing. A little bit more than about the setting. The ritual magic, I say, in Segale is through rituals. You can use this in any other setting. And the rituals themselves, so it's born of a ritual tree. So as you can see in here, which will sort of build up, and it uses the elements of stone, flesh, oil, gold, and salt. Yeah, and the more detailed breakdown here. So if you want to click through there, I'll just click it through quickly, and then it will just show you. There's quite a lot if you want to go and read to understand exactly how it all works, as well as a little bit of information here about the other arcane traditions and some more artwork. We've got the Lyrical Oracle, which is music is, Mörk Borg is heavily inspired by sort of rock music, and this is heavily inspired by folk music. So there is some music that will be included. Some stretch goals. So we are just shy of the Games Master screen, but so far unlocked is a miniature game world based on it, the solo mode, which is always very much welcomed, and some minis here. There is so details here about the minis game that is coming, based within the world of WraithBorn, and then there is an additional. Oh, am I getting ahead of myself? So solo mode unlocked, minis here as well, and if you buy a physical copy, there is a free players pack, which is sad. I kind of wish that there'd be a PDF version of the players pack. Maybe I'll ask in the questions, or maybe when I post this video up, if the designer could actually answer that would be quite nice. Whether there is a way of even adding some money on to get PDFs of the sort of physical free players pack that's included, that would be quite handy. Games Master screen, so if we can actually get up to 20,000k, that would be really good, because I think everyone wants a Games Master screen included. So the rewards, £23 if you want the PDF version only. This is in pounds because the writer of the book is based here in the UK. And with £28 will get you the physical copy and a PDF copy, but it will be in soft cover. 32 will get you the hardback copy and a PDF copy of the book. And then there's a limited edition book as well for £45. And then if you want the full ritual book, hardcover, a copy of WraithBorn, the mats, and some wooden dice set, that's £75. There are some additional add-ons here, so you can get the Omens of the Gods, and then Demon Slayer, which is the previous Kickstarter that we just looked at, so you can actually add those in as well. A little bit of shipping information in there. I actually generally like the look of this one. Any additional stuff for Mörk Borg Pirate Borg, we probably need to give. As a hobby, we probably need to come up with a sort of Borg games, or however we're going to title them. I just say artwork, the world. I do like the sort of vampiric gothic. I know it says folk sort of inspired feel, but it feels a little bit more darker for me than that. And the good thing about these worlds is, yes, you can take whatever the designer has kind of wanted for it, and you can make it a little bit darker yourself. So the artwork is absolutely fantastic throughout. So please join me. Please do back and jump onto this project as well. Let's get to the 20,000. Let's get that Games Master screen opened up for everyone that's going to be running this. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. My name's Adrian from Dungeon Dyslexia. You know what to do. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.